This call is now being recorded.
Okay, yeah. So, I.A. Richards, Practical Criticism. Yes. Yesterday we discussed one poem, yeah, and today there is this poem, A Health, A Ringing Health. That is the first line of the poem, not the title of the poem, but it is the first line of the poem. And we want to see what is what can be problematized in this poem. Or first we will see that what are the difficulties in understanding the poem. Our first quest is, are we able to comprehend the scientific language of the poem or not? That is literal language of the poem. Then we will go to figurative language. First we want to see, can we comprehend a literal meaning from the poem or not? Once we comprehend that, then we try to see what can be the figurative meaning of the words in a given poem. We try to do close reading, as the new critics are supposed to do close reading of the poem. Okay, so let us see this poem. Let me unmute here and sound. I will have to get it from here. Okay. Are you seeing the poem?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us try to see what this poem stands for. Okay? A health, a ringing health, unto the King of all our hearts today. But what proud song should follow on the thought, no do him wrong? So what is this poem? What is it trying to say? The very beginning part. Yeah? A health, a ringing health unto the King of all our hearts today. But that proud song should follow on the thought, no do him wrong. And then it says, unless the sea were harp, each mirthful string woven of the lightning of the nights of spring, and dawn, the lonely listener, glad and grave, with colors of the seashell and the wave, in brightening eye and cheek, there is none to sing. There is none to sing. Drink to him as man upon an alpine peak, brim one immortal cup of crimson wine, and into it drop one pure cold crust of snow, then hold it up too rapturously to speak and drink to the mountains, line on glittering line, surging away into the sunset glow, into the sunset glow. Yes, so what is the sense that you are getting in this poem? Oral sense. First, let us see what is the overall sense of the poem. What kind of say feelings are invoked when you read this small poem? Yeah, what sorts of feelings are invoked? What is overall sense of the poem? Anybody? Then we go to see word by word. Yes, are you getting it? How do you see this? What is the overall sense? Any kind of feelings or overall sense are you getting from this? So, for example, okay, we are not getting anything, let us say, we are not getting any kind of sense or any kind of feeling. On what occasion this poem is written. So, what the feelings are of happiness or unhappiness, we are not able to get it. Whether the feelings are of happiness or unhappiness. It is on some sad
Sir,
occasion.
I
Yes. Yeah.
I think it is a happiness poem.
Okay, so when you think in that term, then you can say the poem is about happiness. Okay, you say poem is about happiness. Okay, and can you give me any one word or a sentence that you can say it seems to be a poem about happiness and not about sad feelings? Which line or which sentence gives you that feeling that this must be a poem about happiness, at least not about sadness?
Here is poet says in C is a harp,
Hmm.
and harp meaning is that some one kind of instrument,
Okay.
and we got the image that C is in its delight.
Okay, so yeah,
So
okay, because there is a musical instrument harp, and so you think that, well, there is a word mirthful string, you can say mirth. Mirth means
yes, sir.
happiness.
Yes.
Yeah, mirthful. So
Yes.
directly there is a word mirthful string is there. The harp is having strings which are mirthful. Okay, so you can say there is a mirth. So you are telling that it must be about happiness, not about sad
Yes.
feelings there.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, so that you are getting, the feeling is about happiness. Now you can say what is that happy occasion? Is it uh, what kind of happiness we can think of in this sense? Is it a health, ringing health unto the king? It says, is it celebrating the health of the king? The king and his is the health of the king is very, very good. So is that the happy occasion? The health of the king is celebrated in the poem.
Sir,
Huh?
am I audible?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Here, somebody is as if wishing to the king that may the king have a good health. But then the poet is telling that we cannot give any proud song what proud song should follow on the thought means in a way they are wishing him poet is wishing him good health, but there is he doesn't deserve not a single song of praise is there for the king. That, uh, but what proud song should follow on the thought? Not doing every song as if it is doing wrong to that king, and as it is a poem of sadness, going towards sadness.
Okay, fine. So first you say that the king, and there's something about the health of the king, but then you say it is moving towards the feeling of from happiness to sad. Yes, sad feelings. You are seeing that? It is
Yes,
about
sir.
the health of the king, and from there it is moving towards sad.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why do you say there is a sadness in the poem? How it moves from that? So mirth is in the beginning, so it's a happiness, but what gives you the sense of sadness in the poem?
It is unless the sea were harp means except if means just now the sea is not compared sea is not harp. So if the sea was harp, then there might be happiness could be there. And in the end, it is going towards sunset. Sunset means end of the day, towards the unhappiness, towards the darkness, towards the death of life.
Okay, so you are seeing the word, there is a sunset. And so you say it seems to be about unhappiness. That is what you are reading, yeah? But there is, the full word is sunset glow. It is coming with the word glow also. Okay, fine. But sunset you are trying to read as sunset. Okay, in case if it is moving towards unhappiness, from happiness, then also can you think of what might be the reason that the poem is moving towards unhappiness? Or if you think that the poem is not moving towards unhappiness, then what is the reading that you are going to do here? Yes, anybody else would try anything? Any other possible reading to understand the overall sense we are trying to see, overall sense and the feeling of either happiness or moving from happiness towards sadness? That is the first quest that we try to do. That what is the overall effect of the poem? What we want to see at the beginning, at the very first instant, is this, that what is the overall effect of the poem? Yes, what is the overall effect? That is very important at the beginning. So if you're not getting that, then again there is some problem that we are still facing in understanding the language of poetry. When we do not get this, what is the problem here is that language of poetry is not understood, is not carefully understood when we see this. Yes.
The poet is telling that the people in his kingdom are not happy with the king. So the poet is telling that drink to him. Him means to drink to the king, as we are drinking, as people in Alpine are drinking the wine. And to add all the snow, cold crust of snow as if and all that. So to drink the king means as if the people are fed up with the king and they want to remove the king away.
Okay, so you want to say that drink to him, and that so people are unhappy with the king. Yes. So they say drink to him. That is what you want to say. Is it so?
Yes, sir.
So you are seeing that the very word drink is a bad word. Is a negative. It has a negative connotation. So you are connecting with the unhappiness of the people against the king. Yes.
But sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you see this word drink, and it is a wine, crimson wine, another thing. So we are seeing it. We are trying to read this poem from maybe a different cultural context where drinking a wine is considered bad. But you must be aware that in many cultures, drinking wine is not considered bad. Yes? So even like Jesus Christ also used to have wine.
Yes, sir.
So wine and bread is also something like a prasadi, if you want to use that word. Also, so that is the cultural difference. So if you know that this poem is from Gujarat, which is a dry state. Gujarat is a dry state, not because it doesn't have a river, flowing rivers, but because liquor is not allowed here. Liquor is not permitted, so it is a dry state. The other part of India, most of the states have a permission to drink. So maybe those Indians also will not consider drinking as bad. Gujaratis may consider, because here drinking is prohibited. It's a dry state. So maybe the experience of our, that is our lived experience, may tell us in that context. So that is problematic. That is a problematic reading of the language that we see there. But it is, we are identifying problems of reading. That is very important, rather than finding the answer. Earlier also we have told that finding answer is easy. Problematizing something is difficult. Problematizing something is difficult, and we want to see how we can problematize reading the language of poetry to reach to the correct reading of this language. Yes, Bhumika, you were telling something? Yes, Bhumika?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
My question is that, sir, Khushbu says that drinking is a negative word. But, sir, how it becomes a negative word? Any of Hollywood movie or reading any story, I may often seeing that drinking regards with happiest moment.
Okay, yeah, that also is a good point.
Yes, sir.
Drinking is connected with happiness. Happiness. So when you see people celebrating something, then there is lots of liquor. It is celebration. It is the symbol of celebration. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can say that when you try to open this word, drink, it can be for celebration. Yes, that is how you see the things, other things there. Are you getting the point, Khushbu?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's how you have to see that how we try to connect this words with the thing. So what is the other thing that goes around that? You may also find that people are drunkard and the tragedy happens because of drinking also. That also you will see. And then you are seeing the scenes where people are celebrating and drinking liquor. Like in Great Gatsby, you will see that. The novel that we will study, The Great Gatsby. So there you will see liquor is a symbol of celebrating life. Though it again leads to a kind of a tragedy also. Okay, fine. So still we are facing a problem of getting to the point whether it is all about happiness or unhappiness. But I think we can narrow down to that this poem is about something that is happiness. It is something about celebrating life, celebrating health. That is what we see. And we see king there at the center character also, king. So the poet or the speaker of the poem, which we may say poet, but we have to remove, we have to separate a poet and the speaker of the poem. We have to, let me make that point clear, that we need to separate poet from the speaker. Yes, we need to separate the poet from the speaker when we are doing new critical reading of the poet. Yes, let us separate. So not poet, but there is somebody who is speaking here, and to whom it is told. So one of the things that we see is that it is addressed to the king. It is addressed to the king, yes, by the speaker. And the speaker may be a friend of a king, or maybe a citizen of the king, or a courtier, and he is trying to celebrate the health of the king, and drink, another thing is coming as a mark of celebration. That is, it seems to be. Okay, a health, ringing health unto the king. Yes. of all our hearts today, but what proud song should follow on the thought? No, do him wrong. What is this? What do you mean by this sentence? Supposing you are using this sentence to tell something, let us say in a prosaic manner, even in a prosaic manner, if you are trying to see this to somebody, then what will it mean? Let us see prosaic reading if we do. Then what will it mean? Let me repeat the sentence. A health, a ringing health unto the King of all our hearts today. But what proud song should follow on the thought? No, do him wrong. If I say this, what will it mean? Prosaic, poetic, we will come later on. Yes, can you get the sense? What does this expression mean? What is the speaker trying to say here?
It means that any thought or song will do harm to the king. Means there is nothing positive or a right thing to say about the king.
Okay, so you mean to say that whatever you will say, it will be problematic because there is nothing nothing good in the king to be celebrated. There is nothing. There is the king's character is has nothing to be celebrated. That is what you want to say, Khushbu?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, Bhumika. Yeah.
Sir, I think in these two words, health and a ringing health. Of my point of view, that health is a past health of this king, and a ringing health is a present health of this king.
Okay, fine. So what sense do you make? So what is your point in that?
I think maybe a king is came out from some kind of illness, or this is a present health is so celebrating occasion of this. But poet doesn't mention any kind of illness in this poem, so it is maybe a birthday anniversary of the king, I think.
Okay, so that's a very interesting point. So maybe the king has come out of the illness, but there is no reference to illness. So well, you can't move on with that direction. But you say that there it might be a birthday celebration. Yeah. Now, how do you get that point that it must be a birthday celebration?
Because of here we find the word drinking, and it is regarded with some kind of happiest moment. And first line of this poem is health and ringing health. In these two words, I find the past health, and ringing health is a present health of this king. And so I find that it has a birthday celebration, I think, of the king.
Okay, now so health, ringing health is like addition on that emotion. Health, and you want to speak again more on that. So you are adding on that. So you say ringing health. Okay? So it's not about past or present, but it is about a healthy life. And it says, but how do you connect that health or ringing health with the birthday celebration? Do you have any other word anywhere in either this poem or in the reading material that is helping you to see that it is a birthday song?
Here we find another word is that alpine peak. Alpine peak.
Okay.
It means that a mountain, some kind of alpine is a mountain's name.
Yes, yeah. Alps mountain. Yeah, there is an alpine peak. So what do you mean by alpine peak?
And the peak means it means that further step of further it means be on a peak.
No, how would alpine peak take you towards birthday or birthday celebration?
Sir, in the material it is given that it is the birthday celebration of George Meredith.
Okay, so because nobody has read material, you are not able to get it. And it is good when you don't read material. If you have read, then you will get an easy clue. If you read, you can get an easy clue. There is, yes, Bhumika.
Whenever by example, today is my birthday, so everybody wish me a birthday, so I feel that I am on a alpine peak. So this kind of mentality I got that.
Okay, so if you say that you are on
point
the,
refer
but it can be,
this word alpine peak.
but it can be a marriage anniversary also. It can be marriage anniversary or any other forms of that. Why only birthday? You may be in the seventh sky, for example. आज में ऊपर आसमान नीचे, आज में ऊपर आसमान नीचे. So you are at the top, no? Height. So you connect that alpine peak, the Alpine Alps mountain range, and that. But then that can be happiness.
But, sir,
yes.
If it be a marriage anniversary, then health and ringing health line is not be there, sir.
Why it won't be there? It will be with birthday and not with any other, like forget marriage anniversary, any other form of happiness will not be equal for the ringing health and being at the height of some happiness apart from birthday. Like for
health
example,
is regarded with body, sir.
Yes, yeah.
For any of the person, sir.
Okay, fine. So
and marriage and any other happiest occasion is not regarded with body, sir.
Then why birthday is regarded with body?
It is be a
birthday is regarded. How is it connected
birthday
with body?
One step. But sir, here is a line is health and ringing health. So health is regarded body, sir.
Okay, it can be mental health also. Can't it be mental health, psychological health?
Psychological.
So why do we consider health only with physical health? Health can be of variety: emotional health, spiritual health, psychological health, and physical health.
Here, sir, we find some example of the sea, delight sea, sir.
Okay.
So by this example, sea and the harp, sea connected with the harp. Harp is a musical instrument. So I think that is a physical.
Okay,
also.
so you are saying sea, harp, musical instrument. Harp is connected with sea.
And mirthful is joy, cheerful. Mirthful meaning is
joyful. Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, sea, harp, this joy again, and the point that comes is that how this physical, this health is physical, and not, you can say, psychological or spiritual. Do you have this words like you can be spiritual health, psychological health? Yeah, that those words also can be used. Think of it that how we connect this one word with only one thing, and why don't we read with other context? That is why we do that neti, not this, not this. How many way we can problematize one word and try to think of various interpretations possible of a particular language, various interpretations, and we have to keep on doing self-questioning. You have to keep on doing self-questioning. That in this way, if I read, then what is the problem and how I move on. That. Yeah? Okay, so well, if you say that it is now the title of the poem, if you read in the material, it is for the 80th birthday of George Meredith. It is the poem is on the, for example, you can see here the title of the poem in the footnote, the 80th birthday of George Meredith, and the poem is written by Alfred Noyes. Alfred Noyes is the writer, and this is a poem on not a king but a friend. Is a friend, not now. See how this happens. If you see the word, the king of all our hearts. If you read the word king, who is friend? Friend is the king of our hearts. He is not the king of land. He is not the king of land. He is king of hearts. Yeah. So is the friend. Friend is metaphorically considered as the king of all our hearts. Yeah. So the poem is on the friend, and who is a very old friend, and 80th birthday. Now see, without title, how it becomes difficult, and with title, how easy it becomes. With title, how easy it becomes. So now our attentions are not diverted. If I deliberately speak the king separate and take a pause and then speak of all our hearts, then we will be mistaken. We'll be mistaken to see that this poem is for the king. But if you speak continuously the king of all our hearts, then you will get a sense that it is not about king. It is the king of all our hearts is a metaphor, and it is on a friend, a bosom friend. We call it a bosom friend, king of all our hearts. Now see the problem. The problems that come, that when you do not have a title of the poem, when you don't know who is the writer, and then there are so many possibilities that to understand the language of the poem becomes very difficult for us, for even the literature students. If those people who are not dealing with literature, for them the poem can never open. Poem will not open. Poem will not speak anything. Poem will લજામણી વેલ જેમ હોય, લજામણી વેલ એને તમે ટચ કરો તો સંકોચાઈ જાય. લજામણી વેલ એમ કવિતાને ટચ કરવા જાવ તો સંકોચાઈ જાય, એમના મીનિંગ ને અંદર લઈ લે અને બહુ પ્રયત્ન કરવા પડે એને ખોલવા માટે, અને જેમ ટચ કરો એમ વધુ સંકોચાતી જાય. તો ખોલવી કેમ? લજામણી વેલની જેમ કવિતા સંકોચાતી જાય. So how to open a difficult challenge that you might be facing. But it is on birthday, and we have to, Bhumika was rightly going that, but we want to know how are you reaching there. That is very important. When you say this is about this, it is about celebration.
Yes, sir. I already read this material and also read this whole poem, sir. I know about it, but this time, and when sir I read this poem, I be like I know nothing about it, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
So I found, because I learned this poem, sir.
Okay, so because you have studied this poem only, so you are knowing that it is. So that is the primary. There is a previous knowledge in your mind that is helping you to read that this is the previous knowledge. Yeah, that is what T.S. Eliot says, historical sense.
But sir, first time, sir, only I read this poem, not the material. That time I also not find this proper meaning. But when I use this Google dictionary, and I find all these meanings of hard word, then some points is clear in my mind that here is a happiest moment, and delight C is like a happiest function occasion there, like that,
yeah.
And also the regarded with health, and health is an example of this alpine peak, and harp and delight sea Uh, this way we can find that it has a meaning of birthday anniversary, like of
Okay.
the king.
Okay, fine. Of George Meredith, not the king. Of George Meredith, the friend,
Yes, sir.
a
But
friend,
here is
not
reference of king, sir.
the
So
king of
if
huh,
we have
yes.
not, if we have not the title of this poem
Hmm.
of this birthday, uh, then we can find that it is a king's birthday. That
Hmm.
if we have not the title of this poem.
Title, yeah. But at the same time, even in the text without title, also it is the king of all our hearts. So we have to see that there is a kind of the use of a language which is figurative. This is figurative use of languages. Figures of speech is used. The king of all our hearts. Not, kings are normally of lands. So you are playing on a paradox. You are playing on the Cleanth Brooks spoke about the paradox. The
Yes, sir.
language of poetry is the language of paradox. That is what. So what we have to see, what is it hiding also, what is it not saying, or what is between the lines when we read the poem, what is between the lines, what is hidden, instead of what is said. That is very important. We are seeing other poem, trust the god, trust the god, trust the god. So obviously we come in mind that, well, is the poet trying to say that don't trust other gods and trust only this god? Is that the reference? And then we find, well, yes, that may be the possible reference, that the poet is, or poetry is trying to tell us that you are trusting the other god a lot, you don't trust that god, you are not trusting this god, you should trust this god. So it is indirectly telling, don't trust that god, don't trust that god, don't trust that god, trust this god who is a traveler, trust this god who is down with you, not somewhere up in the Kailas, but down with you in the south, down. Somebody has come who has left his abode in the Kailas and has come down. Trust this God who travels for you, travels with you. You are trusting that God who is lazily sitting there, lazily eating churma ladu and just sitting there. You are trusting that God a lot. Trust his brother, Karthikeya, Murugan. Why are you not trusting this God? So maybe that way we open or try to read the hidden meaning there also. But reading the material is helping you, or trying to see that helps. Otherwise you find there are lots of challenges, and what we want to see is what are these challenges, why it is difficult, what is the problem. Do we have a lack of command over language? Well, dictionary is there to help us, but still we are not able to comprehend. So what is it? There is we find that figurative language is very difficult to open, very difficult. It is not that easy that we can open. That understanding if we are getting, then we will see that, well, we have to approach the language of poetry with high seriousness, high seriousness. If we will take it carelessly, intuitively, we might be making some kind of mistakes. We might be making some mistakes there. But if you speak, we can identify what mistake. If you don't speak, then I can't read your mind. Like if Khushbu is speaking, we can take that as an example to see that why do you take drinking in one way only and not in the another way. But if you remain completely silent, I am not a jadugar from here, I can read your mind, or I cannot hypnotize you that your mind opens, and I start reading what is inside your mind. So keep on speaking whatever comes in your mind, whatever are the first impressions. What are the now? If you are not speaking here, I fear if you will not write also. If you will not speak here when we discuss, you remain completely silent in the discussion. Then when you will sit down to write, you will not speak, because you will not honestly accept that you are making mistakes in reading the language. And that is what we want. Honestly accept what kind of mistakes, errors, or somewhere we display our lack of understanding. Because from there only the understanding begins. If we avoid that, we will not be able to those things. And this is not only reading poetry of mind, in doing everything. That's why even when people make mistake in working with technology, we do the same thing. Where have you made mistake? Speak that. Talk about it. Why you make mistake in using technology. When you read language, where you made a mistake in reading language. Why you made that mistake. Think of it. Think of it. That is the same habit of mind works everywhere. when we deal with language or with technology or anything in our life. Everywhere, the same kind of mindset is normally operating. If you are taking things very casually in reading language, you will take casually everything in life also. You can't be serious at one place and casual at another place. Either you are serious at everywhere or casual at everywhere. That is how the habits of minds normally work. Okay, now, yes, yeah.
Can we say that the poet uses very ornamentally language in this poem?
Yes, obviously. See, a poetic language will have ornaments. Obviously, ornaments are figures. Figures of speeches are ornament. That is what is figurative language. But now it is highly ornamental or less ornamental. That depends upon how we see that what kind of ornaments and other things are used. And all metaphors are ornaments. All similes are the ornaments. Alliteration is ornament. Hyperbole is ornament. So if you just open the chapter, if you have forgotten on figures of speech, and everything that you see there, they all are ornaments. Rhyme is an ornament. Meter is an ornament. So everything that it is metrical lines, rhyming lines, they all are used as an ornament. So many people say that even if unrhyming lines are there, it still is a good poem. Not necessary you require. So sometimes if the choice of language is good, I say choice of language. That is what is known as diction. If it is very good, you don't require rhyme also, because your language is beautiful without that ornament. So sometimes there is a beauty in simplicity where you do not have lots of ornaments. Sometimes there is beauty in ornaments also. You have lots of ornaments. But it depends. If there is a very ugly body wearing beautiful ornaments, that also will not be pleasing sight. And sometimes there is a beautiful body without any ornament also will look very pleasing. And sometimes a beautiful body with beautiful ornaments will make a good combination of everything. And again, it will be like we say, sone pe suhaga. Sone pe suhaga, or it adds to the value. So that's how we have to make we have to see whether poet is able to maintain those balances, necessary balances or not. Okay, so if you say ornament, then what are those ornaments you find here? Are they appropriate or not? That can be seen.
Yes, sir. I think it is not appropriate, sir, because for the sea, the poet uses the word mirthful, and he also gives for the sea a harp word. And how can be, sir? Every time sea is not be mirthful, sir.
Okay.
Some kind fine. It is, but not every time, sir.
Okay, now yeah, there is this word. Okay, let us say. Let me share this screen of harp, image of harp. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You're seeing the screen? No? This is King David playing the harp. King David. David we have referred last time in Absalom and Achitophel. Yeah. King David playing the harp, and you see that this is the harp. You see the largeness of the harp. Harp is a very large kind of things there. So how the harp gets connected with the sea is in term of the largeness. So you can say that sea has a largeness, and harp also has largeness. So if sea is compared with sitar or basuri, then you will have more problem. Yeah. That this musical
largeness is appropriate, but sea never gives us the sounds like harp, sir.
Yes, yeah. So that is the objection also you find in the material. You find that the sound of harp and the sound of C are very dissimilar. Dissimilar. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes. So the critic has objected to that how harp gets connected with that. So the sound is dissimilar. But maybe the poet has gone by the largeness of looking. So it found, but then only the look of the largeness may not perhaps suffice to compare the sea with the harp. Perhaps it is not sufficient comparison or sufficient metaphor. That's why I gave example that if you see harp as a musical or instrument, then you have so many musical instruments. Why it is not tabla? Why it is not manjira? Why it is not basuri? Why he has gone only for the harp? So maybe he has tried to see that, well, harp has that largeness as compared to the other musical instruments. So he might have gone to compare those things. But the critic will find a problem that, well, only the look of the harp and the largeness of the sea is not sufficient. Harp also should be having the sound like an ocean or a sea. That also is very important to be seen there. Yes, and you can also say that do we find this every time? Can we see that there is mirth kind of thing or not there? Well, let us see this poem here. Let us see. So unless the sea, now even, but before we come to harp and sea, even this word, no, that but what proud song should follow on the thought, nor do him wrong. That also is a very rhetorical way of putting. And the poet says, it says in a way कि मैं कौन सा गीत गाऊं कि मेरे दोस्त का जन्मदिन अच्छा लगे. That is the tone. मैं कौन सा गीत गाऊं कि मेरे दोस्त के जन्मदिन पर वो अच्छा लगे और उनको बिल्कुल बुरा ना लगे. Nor do him wrong. So something in that sense he's trying to say. So he's looking for a song. He's looking for the song for his friend's birthday. Looking. And in that sense he says कि आज के इस अवसर पर कौन सा गाना गाऊं कि वो मेरे दोस्त के जन्मदिन को सोने पे सुहागा बना दे और जरा भी बुराई उसमें ना आए उसके बारे में. That is the tone in which the sentence is written. But what proud song should follow on the thought of, that is on the birthday, nor do him wrong. And now let us see this. Unless the sea were harp, each mirthful string woven of the lightning of the nights of spring, and dawn the lonely listener, glad and grave, with colors of the seashell and the wave, in brightening eye and cheek, there is none to sing. So he says this entire thing. That is his, you can say, euphoric spilling. This is the euphoria which is coming here. So the speaker is very euphoric. You can say high kind of happiness, overflowing happiness. And in that he used this, where the critics say he made some mistakes in that. And those mistakes, if you have read in the material, you can help me in telling this. What are those mistakes that the speaker is making when he is very euphoric, high happiness? પેલા ખુશીના પાગલપનમાં થોડો અતિરેક થઈ જાય છે. અતિરેક મેટાફરના ઉપયોગમાં થઈ જાય છે. What is that? If you can see that. Yes, Bhumika or Khushbu, if you have read. One was this idea that sea were harp, that is very problematic comparison. Sea were harp. Jo samudra harp hoy to. અને પછી જો સમુદ્ર હાર્પ હોય અને પછી એની સ્ટ્રિંગ્સ જે હોય, હાર્પ ની આપણે સ્ટ્રિંગ્સ જોઈ છે. There is a metal strings. સ્ટ્રિંગ્સ પાછી mirthful તો હોય જ, પણ તે ઉપરાંત એ લાઇટનિંગ્સ ની બનેલી હોય, વીજળીઓની બનેલી હોય. સમુદ્ર મોટો હાર્પ હોય અને એમની સ્ટ્રિંગ્સ છે એ લાઇટનિંગ વીજળીઓ એ હોય. એ વીજળી પણ પાછી કેવી હોય? સ્પ્રિંગ રાત્રિઓની. સ્પ્રિંગ ઇઝ ધ બેસ્ટ સિઝન. એમની રાત્રિઓની લાઇટનિંગ્સ, વીજળીઓ એમની એ બનેલી હોય. અને પાછો ડોન, પરોઢ એકલો એ મ્યુઝિક સાંભળતો હોય. પરોઢ એકલો એ મ્યુઝિક સાંભળતો હોય. અને એવું જો કંઈક બને તો પછી એક ગીત બને સરસ મજાનું મારા મિત્રના જન્મદિવસ ઉપર. That is a very far-fetched imagination that is making. So critics found a problem that strings in harp are not woven. They are strung. They are not woven. So the very first problem is this metaphor, mixed metaphor problem, that strings are strung, not woven. Woven, you know, what example we can give? What we call it in Gujarati? Woven and strung, weaving. What we call it? Bharat Kam karu. Bharat Kam. You see, Bharat Kam loko. Yes, Riddhi. વણાયેલું, yeah, but ભરત કામની એ પ્રક્રિયાને શું કહેવાય? સોય દોરાથી people are doing ગૂંથવું. You can use the word. Woven is that. Now the image that we have seen, or if you see this guitar, there the strings are woven. એમને ખેંચી અને એને આટી ચડાવતા હોય છે. It is strung and then the ball is tight. જો એ string ને બાંધવાનું કામ અને વીવિંગ નું કામ બંને બહુ જુદા કામ છે, સાવ જુદી વસ્તુ છે. એટલે ગૂંથવું કઈ રીતે અને સ્ટ્રિંગ ને બાંધવી કઈ રીતે, that is the problem of the word that comes here. Lightning of the nights of the spring, this again is the problem. Now spring nights, many people say that the spring nights don't have lightnings. Lightnings are when there are heavy thunder and heavy rain, but spring nights do not have lightnings. Well, again we see that when heavy rainy season is there, then only we see lightning. But these lightnings are also normally when the night is beginning. You might have rarely experienced the lightning at the time of dawn. At the time of dawn, you don't see lightning. It will be very rare in your imagination, if you try to remember also that dawn and lightning is very rare. Lightning is normally at the beginning of the night or the evening, and normally you see this kind of downpour of rain with thunder and lightning is found in the evening or early night. Never in the early morning. Rarely in the early morning, you can say. So early morning lightning is again a very rare sight to comprehend. So when we try to visualize, we have some problem. We have some problem in visualizing this spring. The other problem that critics found here was that if it is the night, what is the dawn doing there? Dawn and night, they don't come together. રાત્રિ જાય પછી પરોઢ આવે. તો રાત્રિ પણ હોય અને પરોઢ પણ હોય. It is again not possible. Now this all says that કે આ જે બોલનાર વ્યક્તિ છે એનો યુફોરિયા, એની સ્પોન્ટેનિટી ઉભરાઈ પડ્યો છે, એનો પ્રેમ, એમના મિત્ર માટેનો એમનો પ્રેમ, એના જન્મદિવસ માટેનો પ્રેમ એટલો બધો ઉભરાઈ જાય છે કે એમાં આ બધા મેટાફરની ભૂલ થઈ જાય છે એનાથી. That is what the critics try to say. The defense that we can give here, in the criticism you will find all the arguments are defended also. And when you want to defend, then the critic, I.A. Richards, tries to defend by telling that, well, the overall effect of the poem or this paragraph is about high emotion of happiness for somebody. Now, in that capacity, even if the poet has made a little bit of mistake in picking up metaphors appropriately, then also it is pardonable. It is pardonable because you see the overall effect is about high euphoria, high kind of happiness for friend's birthday. And in that, if the overall effect is maintained with an error or a mistake in some kind of selection of metaphors or choice of language, it can still be pardoned in poetry. It can still be pardoned. But you can't say that, well, the poem is one of the best poems so far as the use of diction is concerned. It is not so. Though it is pardonable, but still you can have your problems there. So there is a mistake on the side of poet also, but that mistake can be pardoned on what ground? Overall effect of the poem. Overall the effect of the poem, that is of high euphoria or high happiness, that it can be done here. Okay? If we move further in the poem, it says that, drink to him as man upon an alpine peak, brim one immortal cup of crimson wine, and into it drop one pure called crust of snow, then hold it up too rapturously to speak and drink to the mountains, line on glittering line, repeating again like health, ringing health. There is that euphoria, happiness that is pouring here. Mountains, lines on glittering line, surging away into the sunset glow. So this image reminds us, this last line, that it says that they are not sitting on the mountain, but he remembers as if you are sitting on the peak of the mountain, and you have a cup, and that is immortal cup, which is filled with wine, crimson wine, up to the brim, chalo chal, pyalo bharelo che, chalo chal, pyalo bharelo che, and into it you drop pure cold crust of snow. You are on the peak of the mountain, and very pure. It is not the snow that is in the fridge, not artificial fridge, but a very pure, natural, and that also from the peak, very pure, cold crust of snow. You drop it in the cup, and then you hold your cup. And it says, hold your cup, like this. You hold your cup and you do cheers. You do cheers. that is what it says. And then you hold your cup and you drink. This is that sign that he brings here to the mountains, glittering mountains, which are surging into the sunset glow. So it is a very beautiful evening time. Now this sunset glow, though it is sunset, again clashes with the metaphor of sunset, means dying day. So the only idea about the only way that the sunset can be connected with the death or the thing is that it is 80th birthday. It is the 80th. Only the title can suggest. Otherwise, this sunset glow, when we sit together, it always speaks about something very positive, very like as if it is a morning one. That way it is. But sunset obviously gives, as Khushbu said, that sunset reminds us of something is ending. So it is an old age. It reminds us of old age. And that we can see when the title, then it matches in that idea also. So this is the reading of the poem. We see that, and in a very interesting way, you can open up the poem by asking a simple question: what is the overall sense? Yes.
Sir, also we can say that poet uses here a very hard word for simple word. In this word crust, it means that harder part of something. it means in this poem that hard part of the snow. So is it's refer for the ice which is used in wine cup.
Used for the eyes.
Ice,
Ice. Yeah, ice. Yeah, yeah,
ice
yeah. It is used for that. Yeah, yes, yeah, fine. Yeah.
in this
Yes, it
cup
is.
of wine, sir.
Ha.
So
Yes, it is.
why poet does not use word ice?
Ha. Okay. So you can say ice is again something that is made. Ice is now again ice and snow. Both the things are also different. Ice and snow. Ice is more hardened, and snow is little bit softer. Little bit softer you will find compared to that. So cold crust of the snow and cold crust of the ice will also make a huge difference. When you go for the word ice, again there is that artificiality of refrigerator, that the ice made in the ice cubicles. Ice cubicles are made in the refrigerator. That, but if you want to naturalize, then the better word is snow. Better word to, if you want to naturalize. And he perhaps here tries to give the meaning of that naturalness on the alpine mountain, at the peak of that, when you pick up that yeah, yes.
Poet refers that the crust of the snow. It means that snow's harder part.
Yes.
So it's become ice, sir.
Yeah, that is now. If you have the comparison between two harder things of like the hard part of the ice and hard part of the snow, then again the snow will be more softer as compared to ice. Are you getting that point?
Yes, right, sir. Yes, sir.
If you see that, so if you, but the word snow, obviously speaks about the natural. When you use the word, for example, snowfall, you will never use the word icefall. Icefall will never be the right word to use. So there is that. You imagine that the softer snow. Now, even if that snow that is falling down and gets little bit harder, will still be a softer. You can easily pick up that part. You can pick up that part, though it is bit crusty. It is little bit crusty, you can say, the cold crusty snow. But again, it is not as hard as ice. When we have ice fall, we call it kara. In Gujarati, kara padwa. કરા પડવા. If you see now, એ જે કરા પડે એ અતિશય લાગે એટલું હાર્ડ હોય, અને સ્નો પડ્યા પછી થોડું એ કડક થાય તો પણ that crust is not as hard, as hardened as the ice also there. So that difference you can see here. If you want to see that difference, that what you see there, normally in the drinking cups, people use the harder part of the ice cubicles are normally put there, which keeps on,
yes, sir,
melting slowly and steadily.
My question is that, sir, normally, sir, whenever I watch on all movies, in this liquors cup or wine's cup, people use the ice cubes, sir.
Ice cubes, yeah.
Not the harder part of snow, sir.
Now, see why? Because now it is good that you said that you have seen in the films. Otherwise, people will doubt that you might be having the habit of drinking. So you have a first-hand experience of seeing that what people are normally using. Nowadays, you find lots of those
no,
small
sir, not only me,
videos.
but everyone sees this, sir.
Everyone,
in movies,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah. But we have to clarify that. We have to clarify that I have seen in movies. Otherwise, people can doubt that. How do you know with that surety that people are using this? Well, in that context, you can easily understand that snow is not possible in the houses. It is not possible, snow. And the other snow that we find, sir, is snow is in a way it is a mud. It is a mud. So that snow that normally is found when people are walking over, it is not eatable also. But when it is on this mountain where people don't go, it is not mud, then it is very pure form of the snow. It is pure. And if you can say, if you are on an alpine mountain, then you will not get the cubicles also. You will not get the cubicles. You will have to search the hardened crust of the snow only, because there what is only snow. It is not the ice there. Whereas in the home, you will find ice only. You will not find snow as such. About snow and ice, this igloo people, igloo, igloo, those who live in igloo, the people who live in igloo, what are the known as? Igloo, people, igloo, I don't know whether I will get that word. It's a kind of a shelter that you see in that. And the entire life is all surrounded by the snow. It is said that they have around 100 words for snow, 100 words in their vocabulary for the snow. So there is a different snow to build the wall. There is a different snow for eating, to make water. There is a different snow. So they have almost a variety of words for their, because their life is all about snow. But it is not only one, but variety of, they use, their vocabulary is very enriched there. But in case to solve the problem, you can say that if you are on Alpine mountain, then you will not find an ice. You will have to find the harder crust of the snow. And if you are in the home, then you can easily find the cubicles. You cannot find the snow. And even if there is a snow outside in the compound, it is not eatable, or it is not worth putting, because it is muddy. It is muddy, so it is not worth putting there also. But what we see here, is again the rapturous, the happiness, the euphoria of the friend for that is bringing all this we can say ornamental way or metaphorical way of putting this in this part of the poem. So the entire poem, you can say, we can start with what is overall sense, then what kind of feelings are invoked in the poem, and then we try to see what the speaker is trying to say in the poem, keeping speaker apart from the poet. We differentiate between both of them, and then word by word we try to see that how the words are matching, how it can be problematized, how that problem can be solved, how that problem can be sorted out. And then with lot many problems of the selection of metaphors, of diction in the poem, still we can pardon the poet. We can say that, well, there is a little bit of too much kind of thing that is done here, but still if you see the overall effect of the poem, and the speaker is very happy to celebrate the occasion of 80th birthday of a friend. And so this use of language and metaphor also is pardoned, because the effect is coming, overall effect is coming. So but not without also pinching the poet by telling that, well, you have made a mistake also. By saying that also, you say that, well, you still have made some mistakes in using the metaphors, and yet it can be pardonable. That is how we are supposed to do this reading. In the material, point by point, everything you will find. All the points, how the questions are raised, that all you will find in the material. So go through the material to support what we have discussed here. Go through the material, so you will find all the arguments against the poem, then in favor of the poem, and finally the critical observations by I.A. Richards on this. Will try to defend the personification that is done in this poem, intention of the poet. I will bring the intention of the poet or the speaker. If you want to keep poet aside, then we can say intention of the speaker, because as we try to see new critical reading, we try to see that what is the intention of the speaker. And the whole figure may be said to be inappropriate, for it does not serve the intention of the poet. That intention is simply to glorify or exalt the enthusiasm for George Meredith, whose birthday is being celebrated. The poet has been rather negligent in the choice of means he has employed to attain this end. He is very happy, but he is little bit negligent in making use of the proper metaphors and language. The enjoyment and understanding of the best poetry requires a sensitiveness and discrimination with words, a nicety, imaginativeness, and deftness in taking their sense, which will prevent the poem in question in its original form from receiving the approval of the most attentive readers. Yeah? So what he says when it criticizes that the poetry requires a sensitiveness and a discrimination with words, a nicety, imaginativeness, and deftness in taking their sense, which will prevent the poem in question in its original form from receiving the approval of the most attentive readers. Very attentive people, when they try to do the thing, at that time this poem perhaps fails to satisfy this. The comments examined above show a well-balanced literalism, for they are all objections to a poem in which the poet has been guilty of many liberties and inconsistencies in his imagery. Poet has been guilty and of many liberties and inconsistencies in his imagery, but at other times this rationality and literalism is carried to an extreme, and even legitimate poetic images are subjected to rational and literal tests and condemned accordingly. So we have to be very careful that we do not do a lot of we can say rational or literal objections to the poem. For example, the analysis says that when the night is present, how can dawn remain present? When the night is present, how can dawn remain present? This was the objection, which we can answer that the science has already proven to us that daytime, noontime, morning, evening, everything exists simultaneously on Earth. So while here it is around 2 o'clock right now, it is midnight 2 o'clock in America. It is somewhere a dawn, somewhere a midnight, somewhere an afternoon, somewhere an evening. So all those times exist simultaneously on Earth. Yes, it does exist, scientifically proven that all these things do exist simultaneously on Earth. So that is over literal objection that was raised, that if night is there, how can dawn remain present? It can remain present. It normally remains present on the Earth. So all those things can be objected, and that can be drawn off or out of the context. But still, poet has made a little bit of mistake in using a proper thing. But overall effect, when we see, it can be pardoned also. This is how we are supposed to do the analysis of the poem. Yeah? And when the poems will be given to you, it will be expected that in the same way, you try to problematize also, you raise questions also, and then you try to justify and give answers also. But don't give straight away answer without problematizing it. So it was very good to see that some of the observations were made by Khushbu and Bhumika. That gave us a point that, well, we can problematize the poems in all this way also. And a group reading can be very interesting. Group reading. So if 2-3 people are reading a poem, and if they are raising different kinds of doubts, then it can be very interesting. So when Khushbu said that it is there is nothing good in the king, so the poet is not finding anything worthy to sing the song, or it is a kind of a birthday of a king. That was another observation Bhumika made. And then we find that, well, there is no king at all. There is no king in the poem at all. It is king of the hearts. It is a friend. It is a friend. It is not a king altogether. So that becomes very interesting to see that what we were looking was not at all there. And yet the language of the poem tries to tell that, well, still it is possible to read in that way also. And that is surprising part of the language that we can see. And Bhumika has read something, so she was able to tell that his birthday and this all things are problematic. These are the things that are there. So it was also good thing to see there. So we end this part here with this observation on this, and after a break of 20 minutes, around let us say 1:30. Our next class will begin at 1:30, and we will conclude the discussion of the remaining part of this essay, the figurative language. So at 1:30 we are meeting again for our session. Yes, yeah.
At 2:30, sir. 1:30 is
sorry,
done.
yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, 2:30, yeah, at 2:30. Your next class is at 4 o'clock, I think. At 4? Huh?
That in this the speaker is telling that drink to him. So him is referred to the wine or to his friend.
Drink him is referred to the friend's health, friend and friend's health.
No, then why is telling why the speaker is telling drink to him? Now speaker is not going to drink his friend, obviously.
No, it is that, no, that I was saying that, well, cheers and drink to him, drink for the health of so and so, drink in the memory of that. That is what people do when they drink together. They say drink to him. So you remember somebody, and in the memory of that, or for this or that, people do cheers, and then they clink. They will clink the glasses, and they will drink. So, but they say drink to him. Drink. That is the expression that is made when people to celebrate with wine. Okay, so at 2:30, okay, 2:30 we are meeting again to conclude this chapter.